it's brought in some fresh ideas.
A very necessary thing always with the player.
Please sit quickly at the end of the hall. Wait, please.
Just a few latecomers in the crowd of just under 4,000.
Hurry along, please.
And we are all set.
Steffi Graf to serve. First set.
For 1992 Midland Bank Final. It's a lovely point to start.
Love 15.
And right there you see what the problems are for Steffi Graf, the excellent volleying from Jana Novotna.
Love 30.
What a really confident start.
Love 40.
From the number 5 seed, who, whatever happens today, will move up to number 9 in the rankings.
$15.40. $30.40.
Two of the 3 break points saved.
Game is Novotna.
The early psychological advantage to the challenger, I suppose we could call her.
Well, indeed, a very fine start for Jana Novotna. The beginning of this match, I do think, is important because we've discussed that Jana has many arrows to her bow. She can play from the baseline and hit heavy ground strokes, but she also can come into the net, and she managed to do all of those things in the opening game. And when we were watching Steffi playing yesterday, we were so impressed with her serving ability. Now today already she served a double fault, which could be just you know, very early stage in that before she's got a rhythm. But we've also seen a forehand error, and her forehand is really what dictates her confidence. So I think we are very interested to see this opening service game that Jana's about to serve, to see whether the nerves catch her a tiny bit here.
Yeah, she had a reputation a couple of years ago for building big leads and then not taking advantage. She had an enormous lead against Gabriella Sabatini in the French Open 2 years ago and had match points galore and couldn't take them.
And she still is a fragile player emotionally on the court.
Jana Novotna to serve. Love 15. 15 all. Ladies and gentlemen, no flash photography, please.
So one double fault apiece, and certainly signs of both the players being very tense. That was a perfect angle opened up on the approach.
And it's really amazing that just having got the double fault seems to have already given Steffi the little bit more confidence. She came in on what a great approach shot there.
One thing's for certain, you can bet your life that Jana will be hitting the vast majority of her approach shots to the Graf backhand. It's still a break point against the Czech.
Per service. Deuce.
Somewhat late and uncertain call, but confirmed
Novotna.
by Jeremy Shales in the chair.
For a split second, they looked as if there was going to be a hesitation in Steffi wanting to hit this ball in the air, but fortunately she does. It's just a magnificent swinging volley.
Back to Deuce. Oh, it's a great rally.
Such brilliant speed of foot here by Steffi, and she had to go up the line, but she's got an awful lot of court to cover and came up with what a perfect volley. Tremendous. She couldn't really go across court with that shot. Very well played.
So for the third time in this game, Novotna faces a break-back point.
Deuce.
This is something that Jana has done very well in the last few days. She's played these big points when she's been advantage down. She's played them very aggressively, and it's paid off, because that was quite a risky shot right there.
Advantage, Miss Novotna.
And now the second time she's had game point. Good serve.
Game, Miss Novotna. Miss Novotna leads 2 games to love. First set.
You always feel a game like that with game points either way becomes so much more important than a love game. Certainly the early problems for the champion.
$15 love.
Just rushes that backhand pass at times.
15 all.
She just would settle down and take her time and pick her spot. I'm sure she would make them.
Perhaps overconscious of the need to hit through it rather than slice it defensively.
$30-15. $40-15. $40-30.
Well, it's interesting. You would think the longer the rallies go from the baseline, the more likely Graf is to win them, but at the moment she's not. 40-15 she led in this game.
Advantage, Miss Graf. Scott.
Well, the swatting away of the ball indicates the mood of Graf as she gets her first game.
Ms. Novotna leads 2-1. First set.
And there was a truly great forehand that she hit on that last shot, but, you know, there are just a few little... I think she's hitting the ball really well, but there are a few little incidents where she just doesn't capitalize on her opportunity. The game before, she was 15-40 up on Jana Novotna's serve. She was beaten by a very good approach shot, I must say, but the next time she had a second serve to return, and she missed the forehand return by an inch, and then she finally lost the game. But you can just see the way she seems to be flowing this, she seems to be hitting the ball very well. So it's really, if anything, it's just this hesitation in her mind that causes the errors.
There are a group of her fan clubs. They've come here from all over Europe. Big group from Germany, big group from Italy.
Time.
Their banners. And on Monday she met them all, signed their autographs, and was presented with a book that listed every single match she's ever played on the tour.
And she's very good to her fans. I mean, she's always very patient at signing autographs, and she appreciates their support.
Novotna still has the break, of course. 2-1 in front, opening set.
Love. All. $15.30. First service. First service.
Yeah, Steffi thought the serve was long.
30 all.
Well, it looked as if it did just miss, I have to say. Well, I'm not in a very good position to see that, but it's always difficult to make a return when there have been two serves that have hit the net.
Cannot make that backhand pass.
40-30. Game is Novotna.
And Novotna very wisely exploiting that fact.
Novotna leads 3 games to 1. Wait, please. Thank you.
Graf serving at 1-3.
Better play from Steffi there, because she had pulled Novotna over to the forehand side and then tried to find her backhand, because she's been struggling with Novotna's forehand from the left part of the court.
For service. Love.
That's just in a little quiet period at the moment. Rather too many errors. Well, again, Steffi desperately unhappy about the call, but she improvised so perfectly.
40 love.
Well, and she struggled so much, as we've said, with the backhand, the normal backhand passing shot, but she came up with an absolutely sensational shot. That's so difficult.
Game is Graf.
So can the defending champion draw comfort from the first love game of the match?
Ms. Novotna leads 3 games to 2. First set.
Well, it is interesting, David, to say it's going through a slightly quiet patch, because I was just thinking what great rallies this particular speed of court produces, and it also produces them in men's tennis as well as women's tennis. And I think one does get some exceptionally good rallies indoors in general. But then we did just have a patch there. And the interesting thing to me was that it wasn't so much that Steffi improved, it was that Novotna suddenly had a real confidence crisis on her backhand. Now, yesterday when Steffi was having trouble with her backhand, it was slipping out by inches. I mean, nothing major. But Jana has dumped a bunch of these bread and butter slice backhands of hers, you know, halfway down the net.
The way Jana plays the game with a lot of slice on both wings, you know, often slices the forehand, reminds me a little way of the way Yvonne Goulagon-Cawley used to produce her shots.
I think in a way that is true, although Jana does have this ability to hit this huge forehand, especially when she is in the left part of the court. And she wasn't allowing her backhand to be exploited up until that last game.
3-2 to Novotna. Well, there I think we saw the classic example of Steffi not taking a chance to move forward. She'd drawn Novotna wide out with that sliced backhand. It was bound to be a weak return, and instead she stayed on the baseline, and Novotna was back in the rally. That's wild.
30 love.
Little frustration as well, going for way too much on that.
Second double fault from Novotna.
And really a lucky break here for Steffi Graf, because this is what Jana Novotna does so well. But she really mistimed that ball. It had a lot of top spin on it, and she didn't move forward to it as well as she can. Showing a little bit of a crack right now.
First service. .40-30.
One of the few clean winners Steffi's been able to muster here, but it was by opening up the court with that beautiful placement in terms of depth and accuracy that gave her the chance for the big forehand, her favourite shot. And suddenly the Graf forehand begins to work.
Advantage, Miss Graf.
And she has break point.
Second service.
My word, that was nervy.
Game, Miss Graf.
And there was a sense of inevitability about the second double of that game.
3 games all.
.29 minutes played, 3-all first set. All 3 sets, incidentally, are tie-break sets here in Brighton.
All up 15.
Peter Graf has joined his wife, Heidi, in the competitors' box, just behind some of the British press.
Michael Graf came in as well too.
He's a building a career as a motor racer, to be in Formula 3 next season.
Love 30.
So just when you thought that Novotna had really thrown away the advantage, she puts pressure on the Graf serve again.
Love 40.
That's where she just really doesn't have the instinct at the net to handle a sudden change.
(15-40).
That's the first ace of the match from either player. Still 2 break points to save. Oh, she isn't happy about that.
So close, wasn't it? What a difficult call to make. You see, it's coming from the right side into the line, so possibly it started outside and did finally touch it. Very difficult call.
Once again, Graf pays the penalty for not pressing forward when she had the opportunity, and Novotna restores her lead.
Game is Novotna. Ms. Novotna leads 4-3. First set.
And that really was rather a poor game for Steffi Graf there, because having really brought about the demise of Novotna in the previous game, she just didn't again capitalize on it. Now watch this next point. Steffi's way over in the left court. Now she will gradually start finding her way to the right. There she is, because she's expecting the forehand wide, and she was slow to recover and get to the backhand side and had to lift that ball. And that's something that happens to her quite often. You know, she just expects the opponent to hit a particular shot. Extreme slice on that backhand, but very good knee bending and mobility here from Jana Novotna. And such a good forehand volley. No backswing, very solid. So Steffi really creating her own problems right there. It's such a mistake to finally work your break and then not to knuckle down and be determined to win every point of the next game.
Nice to hear the crowd getting involved. 4-3 Novotna.
(15 love).
That's a terrific shot.
30 love.
Especially because she had to generate her own pace with the big forehand that Virginia was talking about early, because there was no pace coming off the Graf return.
(30-15). (40-15).
Well, in attempting to run round the backhand, she's getting terribly tucked up, playing the ball so close to the body.
for service.
Lovely court coverage, as you would expect from a great doubles player, as Jana Novotna is.
Game is Novotna.
And a very difficult volley, which she handles well here. Finally, Steffi actually gets a backhand pass over the net, but in exactly the place that Novotna was waiting. And she can hit those forehand volleys all day and all night, I think.
Graf serving to save the set.
15 love.
For the first time, a sort of tentative forehand return there from Jana, and you saw her just miming the hit, but once in a while she stops hitting it and pushes that forehand.
I was just going to say, at last she's followed it in when she had the chance to go forward.
Tends to snatch at those backhand volleys. In fact, the forehand as well. I mean, she just needs to take her time on this and give the ball a chance.
(30-50). (30 all).
Once more, Graf was in control of the rally, but didn't press forward.
30-40.
So she faces a set point.
Deuce.
Well, it happened again, David. She had the rally in her control, Steffi, and then
Advantage,
she just, that shot, she allowed Novotna to take over.
Second set point.
for service.
Oh, dear me.
sort of a lucky break there, but did you see the way that Steffi almost wanted to go around that ball and hit a forehand? You can see we just missed it on that, but she almost looks as if she wanted to hit a forehand and resisted the temptation.
So 2 set points saved, and that cord will have done nothing for Jana Novotna's nerves.
Advantage, Miss Graf.
Well, the aggressive play has been working for her, so you can't blame her for trying to get in on that, but maybe a bit too impetuously.
All good. Jana can't believe it.
Miss Novotna leads 5 games to 4.
Still the process goes on, but it will be to no avail.
Well, it's important really for Jana Novotna not to lose her cool now, because that serve was very difficult to see. I mean, we were absolutely down the line, and it was almost as if you lost sight of it, which means, in my mind, that it hit the line. And it was a very quick serve. So she's just got to live with it and recover her composure. It's a difficult time in a set to lose your composure, and it does worse for the other player if they see you're getting angry. I mean, let's face it, if you can see your partner visibly showing you that she's upset, it's going to do a lot for your morale. And Hannah there looking suitably calm about the whole thing. But I know that if you're watching somebody play, you probably are. That's the one thing you are not.
Time.
And I'm sure Hannah Mandakova, of course, Jana's coach, will know that there'll be a lot of knowing looks going around in the press box and in the players' box saying, this is where she's so wobbly, she's had 2 set points, desperately unlucky with the net cord, now she's had a tough call. First couple of points in this game, she's got to get the first serve in.
But so far this match, she has bailed herself out of every difficult situation with some very fine aggressive play, either with good serves or that big forehands or coming into the net. New ball she has as well. It should help the server.
That's exactly what Novotna needed. First serve in.
15 love.
Good telling volley. We say they help, the new balls help the server because, of course, they fly through the air a little bit quicker. They haven't fluffed up at all.
She had the right placement for that passing shot, but she still is not making it work for her.
Love.
Well, all credit to Jana Novotna. She's got 3 first serves in. And she has 3 more set points. Her 4th double fault.
Game
But
first
the
set,
first
Miss
ace
Novotna.
means the set is hers after 46 minutes.
Six games to 4. Please remain seated for one more game. Players continuous. Second set, Miss Graf to serve. Love.
Well, insofar as these things are significant, their only previous meeting in Brighton, the semi-finals here in 1989, Novotna won the first set 6-4, Graf won the next two 6-3, 6-3. Oh, that was
15
an
all.
awful shot. It was an indecisive shot.
Well, she's just forcing a lot at the moment.
His mother getting decidedly fidgety. No wonder.
15-30. All.
She's getting a little angry on her serve, Steffi, which means that she's going for a bit more, but she's not got such a high percentage of first serves as she'd like.
Ooh, that was a chance.
Game, Miss Graf. First game, second set. First set, Miss Novotna.
Graf having the advantage of serving first, of course. But Virginia, I just feel now that the big difference in Steffi from 1992 to say 1988 when she had a Golden Grand Slam is that her opponents know how to play her, whether they have the ability to perform the game plan, but it means living with the big forehand, staying in the rally against that and getting it to the backhand somehow.
Well, I think so, and I think they're not as threatened by her, and she is a little bit predictable. But just looking at Peter Graf there, you know, I always think that it's a little dodgy when he just comes in for the last day of a tournament. You get so used to having people watch you match after match after match that it's just a different feeling. I always feel that she wants to be extra specially good when he's here, and that puts a bit of pressure on her, and you can see today that she is putting pressure on herself. You know, the anger has always been quite a good factor with her. It makes her get the adrenaline going and makes her really go for broke, but sometimes she can go over the top. And you were saying that Jana won the first set when they played in '89 here, but in fact, when she's beaten in that 17 times, Steffi's won 14 of them. She's never otherwise lost that opening set, so I don't know what that means.
We shall see.
Love 15.
She certainly needs to get a little bit of a lead against Novotna in order for her to be able to really relax and go for her shots. She's given up going for the topspin backhand on the passing shot, but that was a very poor attempt at a variation.
Game is Novotna.
Second ace from Novotna.
One game all, second set.
When Steffi runs to that backhand, you can see her really deciding whether she's going to run around it and hit it as a forehand. When she finally decides to take it as a backhand, she's too late on the ball.
Just waiting while mother removes the baby.
Probably he should give her a first serve, because, I mean, the baby isn't crying on cue. But it's difficult to serve a second serve after that.
All. 15-30. All. 30-40.
So break point against the champion, whose winning streak of 29 matches here in Brighton is under very severe threat now. And that's out.
Game is Novotna. Ms. Novotna leads 2-1, second set, and 1 set to love.
Well, both players are having so many problems with themselves. At the moment, they both are fighting huge battles. And I can't help thinking that one of Jana's battles is just the fact that she isn't used to winning the first set. So she's got to feel a little bit different and have maybe a little bit of a let-up. But it hasn't been allowed to happen because Steffi's been giving her a helping hand. And I really don't think that I've ever seen Steffi have as much indecision about whether to take balls on her backhand side on the backhand or on the forehand, and that's just causing her all sorts of chaos.
Yes, she's just not settled to any sort of game plan at all, and at the moment she seems incapable of changing a losing game. I remember my old coach used to drum into me, as we see her parents again, never change a winning game, always choose a losing one.
Always change a losing one, and yet I don't think she has that many options. She's frustrated, she's not serving particularly well, she's taking less time between points, she's avoiding thinking about it, in fact. And Jana's been given a lot of help and playing very well. Her serve is still working when she needs it. So she's got that break in the second set, 2-1.
Ball up 15.
You know, crazy to criticise when she's won the point, but she very nearly allowed Novotna to cover this one by not going for the backhand one. So she's got the whole court, she just pushes it back, and Jana wasn't that far away from it. But it was the big forehand that had set up the opportunity. Of 30.
$15-30.
Couple of tremendous points here by Jana Novotna. The one before, she covered the net so well. This one, she just hits what a good volley. She was closed in on the net. It's very difficult to pass somebody when they are coming in on such good shots. So excellent play here and brave second serving.
Back from love 30 to 30 all.
(40-30).
Third ace now.
Very good serve. And suddenly you're beginning to notice Novotna more than you are Graf on the court.
Game is Novotna.
2 successive aces. And a crunch game.
Ms. Novotna leads 3-1. Second set.
To emphasize and hang on to the break of serve when you were love 30 and in danger of conceding the initiative.
Love 15.
And the Graf backhand is just disintegrating around her.
Maybe if she's desperate enough, Steffi, she'll
15
keep
all.
coming into the net and find that she can live there.
Wow, what a difference. 2 lovely rolled backhands.
And off immensely difficult shots. Jana's approach shot here is absolutely magnificent on the baseline, and Steffi finally finds deep within her the way of hitting that shot. There it is. Had to take a bit more time because it was such a difficult shot.
(40-15).
Now then, can Graf draw inspiration from that game?
Game is Graf.
Suddenly, when she seemed
Ms. Novotna leads 3-2. Second set and 1 set to love.
desperate straight, she won 4 wonderful points.
Well, there was just a moment when it looked as if there was a flicker of resignation coming across her face. And I've seen that in a few matches with her this year where she fights and fights and fights, and then suddenly you see it change in her face and she almost gives up. And just by doing that at this stage might have taken a little of the pressure off herself that she has been imposing because she's been trying so hard. And possibly just now she's cracked her egg by making those passing shots. Maybe now she'll believe that they're there.
I'm interested in what you're saying about putting the pressure on herself, because yesterday when I talked to her after she played Ankerhuber, she thought she'd underprepared. She'd won all their 3 previous matches very easily, and she thought, well, I think I took her far too lightly. One suspects that today, perhaps to compensate, she may have taken Novotna almost too seriously.
And I think that's very possible. Preparing for matches, you are different in days you feel differently. Sometimes it's automatic and sometimes you have to work at it, and sometimes you tense and other times you not. So this is a big game here for Novotna. See if she can come up with as impressive a serving as she finished her last service game.
Oh. Well, you know, I think about 3 backhands ago I said it was disintegrating. Now she's hit 3 lovely ones.
Love 15.
Well, maybe she did get resigned to it, and she just let the automatic take over, and you know that she can hit that shot. Just was hiding for a long time.
First service.
I can tell you Steffi Graf will be a different player in this match if she does have a backhand passing shot.
$15 all. $30-15. $30 all. $30-40.
Tough point. This is a very difficult game and a clever choice of shot there. And Jana Novotna had just backed off it as she hit it, so she's break point down.
First service.
The second serve. Oh, what a rally and what a moment for Graf.
This is not the way that Steffi Graf likes to play, having to just guts out a point and refuse to make an error, but she succeeds, and it was Novotna who took the chance a little bit too early. You knew this was going to be a hugely important, tense point, and it turned out just that way.
So just as she did in the first set, Graf comes from 1-3 to 3-all, but in that first set she immediately fell behind again. She cannot afford to do that now.
There's also a tiny bit of fatigue, I feel, in Novotna at this moment. A lot of that's from the pressure as well as having to work that hard.
30 love.
Noticeable that the Graf supporters in the crowd are a lot more animated.
Love. Game is Graf.
And the look of semi-resignation of a few
going on with both these players, and I still can't help feeling that that was a little bit of a turning point at 3-1 down when Steffi Graf managed to connect with a backhand passing shot, something she hadn't done the entire match. And for Jana, difficult. She is playing still very well, but she's had to work very hard on her serve throughout the match. She's had to concentrate on the tough points, and so far she's showed a tremendous amount of guts in them and chosen very well to come in at the right moments. But those couple of volleys that she didn't reach then, I felt that that was just a consequence of the effort that she has expended.
Time.
And of course, although she's lost the same number of games as Steffi, 18 in reaching the final, she's had to beat two top 10 players. She's already caused two upsets. She's put out the third seed, Conchita Martinez, the second seed, Mary Jo Fernandez. So in a sense, they must have drained her emotionally.
Well, I'm not sure that I totally agree with you, because I think that would have given her confidence, just because I feel that she thinks she's hitting the ball that well at the moment. So the thing is that she's playing a different player, and she has, the record shows that she's lost to her an awful lot of times. 3-4 second set.
Love. Love.
And this has been the story of Novotna this week. When she's in trouble, she has played the aggressive shots so well. Two excellent points she's just played.
A little bit of variation works wonders. But the backhands were there as well to force the defensive volleys.
30-15.
And when she hits these backhand passing shots with topspin, she looks as if she could do them all day. So they've been eluding her. She nearly lost this point, though. Had to come up with much too good a shot, really.
Second service.
Virginia Wade is tearing her hair out at the choice of option.
40-15.
Steffi, again, she played that magnificent backhand roll there. Well, it's this one coming up. It's so good, this shot, and she has a million opportunities. And what does she do? Put it back in her traditional place, cross-court. And Jana very cleverly anticipating.
Game, Miss Novotna.
Well, that was a very important game for Jana Novotna to stop the run of 3 games.
4 games all, second set.
Take the wind out of the sails of Steffi. She was beginning to mount a charge. An hour and 17 minutes, 4 all, second set. First set, Novotna, 6-4.
Really, this game an opportunity for Novotna to take a few chances and hope that they might work. Slightly tense point, and even that last ball, although she hit it so well, she didn't look that comfortable when she hit it.
Second double fault from Graf.
All.
David from 30 love up at 4 all, a double fault and an easy forehand in the net. That's just killer mistakes.
So, break point
30-40
against Steffi Graf here. And although rolling the backhand, her weight was going back, and you've noticed that Novotna had covered the down the line. She would have made the volley even if the pass had come over. That's a great serve. It's such a moment.
Deuce.
And that I'm glad to see. So often at these moments of crisis in recent years, she's rushed. And the fact that she's just sort of calming herself down a bit. Oh, dearie me.
Advantage, Miss Novotna.
So for a second time, Novotna has the chance to take the 5-4 lead with her own serve to come.
Deuce.
Well, I must confess I don't know what all those mannerisms were about. The body language in this match has been fascinating.
But she's got to stay aggressive, Novotna. She can't get tentative because then she has to make difficult decisions.
Advantage, Miss Novotna.
Well, she was certainly positive there, finding the line. And once again, break point against Graf, third of this game.
Deuce.
Oh dear.
It's amazing, isn't it, David? I mean, Novotna has weathered the storm in this game so well, but was that her choking coming back to haunt her?
It was the right tactic. Get in, get to that backhand, force Graf to hit the backhand pass.
Advantage, Miss Graf.
Oh, it was a nothing approach and a tentative volley. And is it Graf who's weathered that particular storm? It's she who's gone ahead 5-4.